are you, ma'am and sir? Listener, Mohammed, I try to do small thing in preparation if God make we will get support funding for just the project we get at hand. Now this is the plan we are put in place. I do some slides where I want to cover up quick one and send them to you, because until you return I want to make it can be something tangible. Okay, so objective, cause outline, to understand what fraud is, to differentiate the types of fraud. 3, we get to learn the cause of fraud on oneself and country. And 4th, we have to think about possible ways to tackle fraud and corruption around anybody we get for the way that would be possible to attend the workshop. Fraud is, say, according to the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, fraud is defined as the intention of false representation or concealment of material facts for the purpose of inducing someone to act upon it to his or her injury. We have number 2, fraud could also mean a knowing misrepresentation of the truth or the concealment of a material fact to induce another to act to his or her detriment, by Black's Law Dictionary. Or consequently, fraud includes any intentional or deliberate act to deprive another of property or money by guilt, deception, or other unfair means, by ACFE rather. Types of fraud. Fraud against company can be committed either internally by employees, managers, officers, or owners of the company, or externally by customers, vendors, and other parties. Internal fraud, otherwise known as occupational fraud, can be defined as the use of one's occupation for personal enrichment through the deliberate misuse or misapplication of the organization's resources or assets. This type of fraud occurs when an employee, manager, or executive commits fraud against his or her company. External fraud against a company includes a broad range of schemes. Dishonest vendors might engage in bid rigging, bill a company for goods and services not provided, or demand bribes from employees. Or likewise, dishonest customers might submit bad check or falsified account information for payment, or might attempt to return stolen or knockoff products for a refund. Other examples of external fraud committed by third parties include hacking, theft of intellectual property information, tax fraud, healthcare, loans, etc. Number 3, types of fraud. We have numerous fraudsters have devised schemes to defraud individuals. These include identity theft, Ponzi schemes, phishing schemes, and so on. Identity theft occurs when a person uses someone else's personal identifying data like their names, identifying numbers, credit card numbers without their permissions to commit fraud or other crimes. So when you check it, there is a short video that we are going to look at. I'm not going to play all of the video, rather we just introduce it short for the recording. This is on identity theft.
What is identity theft? Identity theft is the deliberate use of someone else's personal information without the person's knowledge to commit fraud or gain financial benefits.
Ponzi scheme. We have, this is an investment scheme. This is an investment fraud that pays the existing investor with funds collected from new investors. Ponzi schemes often promise often promise to invest your money and generate high returns with little or no risk. In many schemes, however, the fraudsters do not invest the money. Short video here as well for that.
As the name suggests, a pyramid scheme is an investment scam which revolves around current investors receiving money by recruiting new members.
Ponzi
the new
scheme.
Members will receive money by recruiting other people, and so on.
This type of social engineering attack is often used to steal user data. This includes login credentials and credit card numbers. It occurs when an attacker masquerades as a trusted entity to dupe a victim through an email, instant message, or text message. Short video as well. See but for the length of the video, for the length of this recording, I'm going to push it up. These guys, how do you call them? WhatsApp does not take too much of a lengthy video. So I'm going to
increasingly sophisticated.
Push it forward. What causes fraud? The best and most widely accepted model to explain why people commit fraud is the fraud triangle. This was developed by Dr. Donald Christie, a criminologist whose research focused on embezzlers, people he called trust violators. This is Dr. Christie, and then we have the fraud triangle itself there. Explain it one after the other. The pressure, we have the direct psychological reason, cause, and aim that leads someone to decide to commit a fraudulent attack. Example, I did really badly with investment and my salary keeps going down. Have opportunity when it becomes easier to commit fraud because there is little management or sparse checking mechanism. Example, we have, I could take this money, change the data, and no one will notice anything. Sparse checking mechanism. We have rationalization, the justification or motivation that one gets for involving oneself into fraudulent activities. Example, we have, I am a committed employee. I have served this company more diligently than the others who are paid more than me. This will serve as my long-term pay, just in case somebody steals justification that somebody can get from that. Then we have, this is a short scenario that we gathered from the field. Format Asise, a resident of Tender Hill, east end of Freetown, is a subscriber to one of Sierra Leone's major telecom companies. On Friday, 27th of August 2021, she was lured into buying a SIM card by a sales agent from the very company whose SIM she had in her phone. According to her, she and several other friends were told to buy the SIM at 5,000 leones because the SIM had 1 week free on-net call, 1.2 gigabytes, and the possibility to win a large sum of 100 million leones from a raffle draw that will be coming up later that week. After several attempts to call a few of her relatives with this free call seemed to no avail, Famata decided to ask one of the other neighbors who had bought the SIM to know whether they were experiencing the same problem. It turned out that all of them had the same problem. There weren't any data and credit on the SIM they had bought. Upon contacting the customer care center of the telecom company, Fatmata and her neighbors were told that there were no SIMs out with such facilities at the moment, and that the company doesn't sell any SIM at 5,000 leones. They were further told that the company sells SIMs at 2,000 leones with 1 minute on net call and 100 megabytes to check network connectivity. By the time our outreach team could round up for the day, we realized that more than 150 more people had fallen for the hoax in that community. What would have been done to prevent that crime from happening? One, we said to verify with the company employees to ascertain the truth. Two, to verify from a trusted friend, check with a friend to see whether such things are going on. Three, the company should check the activities of their sales agents in the field. And then lastly, we have the companies should engage the public on the nature of their product, cost, timing, at every other given. Fastly approaching by. Then we have financial asset misappropriation. This occurs when an employee steals or misuses the organization's resources. Example, theft of cash on hand. Theft of cash on hand. This is a scheme in which the perpetrator misappropriates cash kept on hand at the victim organization's premises. Example, employee steals cash from our company vault. Then we have theft of cash receipts. This occurs by the theft of incoming customer payments or of non-revenue cash receipts before the funds are deposited and recorded in the accounting records. The scheme requires an individual to receive the funds and avoid the accountability controls. Fraudulent disbursements. In fraudulent disbursement schemes, an employee makes a distribution of company funds for a dishonest purpose. Example of fraudulent disbursements include forging company checks, the submission of false invoices, doctoring time cards, and so on and forth. Inventory and other assets. Misuse for personal purpose. This occurs when an employee misuses his or her office for his or her private benefit instead of the interest of the organization's gain. An employee's position or title should not be used to coerce, to endorse any product, service, or enterprise, or to give the appearance of governmental sanction. Larceny is a crime involving the unlawful taking or theft of the personal property of another person or business. Then we have going through there with corruption. We have this occurs when an employee misuses his or her influence in a business transaction in a way that violates his or her duty to the employer to gain a direct or indirect benefits. Example include bribery, as defined by Blacklock's dictionary, is the offering, giving, receiving, or soliciting of any item of value to influence the actions of an official or other person in charge of a public or legal duty. Next, we have kickback, a form of negotiated bribery in which a commission is paid to the bribe taker in exchange for services rendered. Bid rigging is a fraudulent scheme in procurement auctions resulting in non-competitive bids and can be performed by corrupt officials, by firms in an orchestrated act of collusion, or between officials and firms. This form of collusion is illegal in most countries. Economic extortion, the wrong use of actual or threatened force, intimidation, or even violence to gain money or property. Conflict of interest is a situation in which a person is in a position to derive personal benefit from actions or decisions made in their official capacity. Example, Abraham quit his job after questions about a possible conflict of interest. Purchasing scheme. Purchasing scheme, this occurs when an employee with purchasing authority uses that authority to purchase and misappropriate merchandise. Then we have sales skills. I'm going to forward this time. This occurs when there is a conscious effort by an employee or employees to produce financial statements with materially wrong accounting data. Example, we have sales timing manipulation, understated expenses, improper capitalization, improper asset or liability valuation. Okay, what possible ways could you support the fight against fraud and corruption in your daily lives? And lastly, an African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, go together. Corruption cannot be won on the basis of mere perceptions and blame games. Together we defeat corruption and fraud. That's it. And thank you for timing. Okay, so this is about 17 minutes. I wonder if WhatsApp could allow me to do it. If it doesn't, I will be forwarding it on the YouTube platform, and I will send a link to those concerned. Okay, thank you so very much. Look forward to hearing from you soon. This is just for a test match.